next week. All right, so this week we're going to be working on some twists, and we'll talk about the benefits of twists for our nervous system and our spine. We're going to start out really chill. We're going to do kind of some passive twisting just to really start to gently get into the spine. And then we'll pick it up and we're going to do, our flow, and we'll do more twisting in our flow. So just allow yourself to kind of enjoy this beginning part where we're going to just be more chill and just be in a twist for a little bit of a longer period of time. So we're going to start on our backs and do a little exploration of our spine. Little meditation on the spine. And you're going to start with your feet flat, knees bent. And I'm going to go ahead and mute. We'll get started. There's something wrong with my mic, guys. I'm always having problems. I don't know what's going on. You will still be able to hear me, but it might sound a little less, clear today because I'm just going by my iPad mic. All right. So coming into the position where you're on your back with your feet flat, and you have some options here. You could either let your feet and knees stay hips distance apart, or you could walk your feet about max distance apart and let your knees drop together. So for some of us, that's not comfortable. The advantage of letting those knees drop in is that it broadens and widens your sacrum, and it can help relax your lower back. So I want to spend a little time more in neutral before we start the twisting practice, so that we can observe the spine in its neutral position, and then take it into some different twisting variations. Begin to initiate a nice soft breath. And as you breathe in and breathe out, be very aware of the central channel of your body. So as you inhale, it's like you're inhaling all the way down to the pelvic floor. And as you exhale from pelvic floor, all the way back up and out your nose. And see if you can really just kind of meditate on that central channel for a few more cycles. It's feeling the length of your spine. It's going to take maybe 2 more rounds like that. And then we're going to bring our awareness next through different parts of the spine. And we're going to try and notice if there's any unevenness, if there is already kind of a sense of the spine being a little twisted, because most of us do have a little bit of twist in our spine. So be aware of your very low back, your sacrum, your SI joints, and start to have a sense, does one side kind of drop into the ground a little bit more than the other? Can you have a sense that maybe there's more sensation on one side? And then bring your awareness to the side that feels less present, less grounded, or less painful. And just kind of focus there until you find a sense of evenness. So I don't want you to actually move anything. I want you to use your awareness to kind of change what we call the brain mapping. So right now, one side might take up a little bit more brain real estate than the other. So see if you can find equal awareness to both sides. When we have pain, the brain map for the pain side gets bigger and bigger the more attention we give it to. So a little trick is to focus on an area that is not painful, and that will kind of decrease that brain map for the more painful side. So now we're going to move up to the back of the ribs. Can you notice there? Is there any sense of twisting? One side a little dropping, a little heavier than the other. And can you get a sense with your breath and your awareness of letting both sides of your rib cage settle and drop into the ground? Equal awareness. So you might need to focus on that one side a little more till you feel it. And sometimes we're not going to be able to feel that equal awareness. That's okay. We're just going to keep moving. Okay, next part is the back of your shoulder blades. Again, is one shoulder blade pressing a little bit more into the ground. When one side's a little heavier, there's a little bit of a twist in that part of the spine. So evening it out with your awareness, your breath. And now feel both sides of your back equally, from the sacrum, the rib cage, the back of the shoulders. See if you can find an equal awareness to the whole back of your spine. So we're shortly going to move into our first twist. So our first twists are going to be passive twists. Eventually we're going to do more active twists. So for this first twist, and I'm just going to talk you through it, I want you to lift your hips a little bit off the ground. You're going to offset them to the right. And then you're going to let your knees drop to the left. So coming into that first initial twist. And you might make some adjustments here. You might need some props under your knees, between your knees. You might pull that left shoulder blade a little out from under you to even yourself out. And we're going to go in stages, gradually deepening this twist. So kind of let your body settle into this first part of it. And I'd like you to notice where you have areas of restriction in the body and send your breath and your awareness there. And see if you can, just with your awareness, allow that resistance to start to settle and soften. Next phase might be turning your head over to your right shoulder. See how that feels. Take a pause. And then the next phase might be to extend your top leg a little bit. Maybe bring it a little bit above the left knee. So you're starting to extend. The leg could still be bent. It might straighten out a little bit. But see if you can just start to deepen that twist. And if that's too much, you're going to stay in version 1. We want to keep the level of sensation pretty mild here. We don't want it to be so intense that we feel like we got to get out of it, because that will activate the stretch reflex and the body will start to do the opposite of what we want it to do. We're looking for the body to unwind and twists. But if we're feeling that intense, deep, almost painful sensation, the tissues will actually tighten up more. Now, if you want to go that last stage, you're going to try and cross your legs, almost like you're doing eagle pose. So tuck your top leg around the bottom leg, and that will be your final stage of this twist, deepening it one more stage. Try to even out your chest and your shoulders as best you can. And head could be turned or not. We'll take a few more breaths now in this final phase. So our central nervous system is housed, of course, in the spinal cord. It's protected by the vertebra of your spine. And most of the nerves that carry information to and from various parts of our body extend out from our spinal cord. When we ground, lengthen, and twist in our more active twists, we subtly realign the vertebra, thus relieving unnecessary pressure on those nerves. So even here in this passive twist, we're getting that sense of the spinal muscles kind of releasing the fascia around the spine, and hopefully we can alleviate compression when we do twisting. Now we're going to come out just as slowly as we went in. So slowly start to uncross your legs if you took that eagle version. Maybe bring your head back to center next. And just do this in stages so that you don't kind of just all of a sudden rush out of that twist. And then bring your top leg back, bring your bottom leg back, feet flat. And we're going to pause now in neutral. And take a moment again to observe your spine, the after effect of the twist. So twists also work with our parasympathetic nervous system because our vagus nerve travels from our brain all the way through our spine to our organs. So when we twist, we're activating that, so it can help us feel more relaxed. And also, anytime we squeeze a tissue and then release a tissue, which we're doing in a twist, it has a relaxing effect. Let's start it on the other side. Lift your hips, shift them over to the left now. And then you're going to bring the knees over to the right. And then start to even yourself out. Maybe you need to kind of pull that right shoulder blade out a little bit. And just have a moment of settling before we deepen. Don't go for that deepest version right away today. I know some of you can, but it's like this very gradual stepping into the pose that can help us relax even more. So twists can affect both aspects of our nervous system in a positive way. We have the sympathetic, which is going to increase our heart rate, release glucose, opens up our bronchial tubes, helping us to bring in more breath. It can be overstimulated. We can get stuck there in that sympathetic response. We always feel like we're nervous, we're in fight, flight, freeze. Or, you know, we have the parasympathetic, where it helps us digest our food, helps us be calmer. Now gradually start to deepen. Maybe if you haven't, turn your head, take that top leg, extend it a bit, but let's still not go for that full version just yet. So baby step yourself into it. And then find your breath. That nice, slow, soft breath also helps to bring us more into the ventral or the parasympathetic, where we're more engaged. We haven't like completely collapsed, and we're not in fight flight. We're not trying to get anywhere. We're just calm and present. That's what we're looking for. As you're ready, you might go ahead then and deepen and cross that leg around if you want to go to that final stage. Another benefit of this twist, of twists in general, is that when we twist, we're getting a little bit more into our thoracic area. The bottom of our spine, the lumbar, very mobile, as well as the neck area, very mobile. But the middle part of our spine tends to be a little stiffer. And then those looser areas can take over, and they can overcompensate. And then we feel pain in our neck and in our lower back. So we need to get more mobility in our thoracic. Okay, slowly start to come out a little bit at a time. So maybe you turn your head first, maybe you uncross your legs, and I want you to just go super slow motion so that you're not shocking your body into coming out, and then you'll observe. So just take a moment and observe the neutral spine with your feet flat. One more breath cycle here, just kind of noticing both sides of your spine, or of your back rather. And then let's go ahead and make our way to seated. So take your time, you can roll to one side. We're gonna go ahead and come on up. Let's sit on something if that's comfortable for you. Widen out those sit bones. And let's find a really tall spine. So whenever we twist, we want to create space in the verticality, because the more we're not, it's like we're slumping down, then there's more bone on bone, we're compressing the spine, and then the twisting is not going to help those nerves have more space. So let's go ahead and sit up tall. We'll inhale the arms up, interlace your palms, and let's get really long from the sit bones all the way up to the crown of the head, all the way up to the arms. And just like last week, we're going to align those platforms of the back body. So we're not going to flare the rib cage. We're going to try and find neutral. Okay, from here, take your hands behind the back of your head. And then press your head back into your hands. We'll get that upper spine engaged like we did for our neck class. So all these things kind of culminate this week. We're going to inhale here, and as you exhale, I want you to think about turning to your right from your rib cage, not your arms. So start to turn your rib cage as you keep that length in your spine and the crown of the head pressing back. Now we're going to hold it here. Inhale a little taller, then exhale, turn from your rib cage. We're going to hold there one more breath. Maybe just a tiny more twist. And then inhale it back to the center and just pause. Release the hands down, observe the spine for a moment. All right, let's do that on the other side. Inhale, reach the arms up. Interlace the palms, lengthen from your sit bones up through the crown of the head and your hands. And then hands behind the back of the head, press the head back. Inhale, sit up as tall as you can. Exhale, let's turn. And then we're going to stay and hold here, turning from the rib cage. So we'll have a lot of focus on that rib cage today. Can you take your left rib cage, draw it back a little bit as your right rib cage wraps around to the front. Good. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale and release. Okay, let's come into tabletop position. We are going to do our cat-cows, but I'm going to give you very different specific instructions today because I wanted you to get more mobility in that thoracic spine. So go ahead, just find neutral here for a moment. And then after this, we'll get moving a bit more. So we're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, start to push up from the thoracic. So right between your shoulder blades, push it up toward the ceiling. And eventually your pelvis follows, and eventually your head follows. But you're pressing that thoracic up first. And now as you inhale, we're going to drop between the shoulder blades. And then the pelvis and the head is going to follow last. So it's super slow motion, isolating into that area of the thoracic. So go ahead, take a few more rounds, and you're going to go really slow. Push up to the back of the shoulder blades, and then keep the arms strong as you start to drop down between the shoulder blades, then the pelvis, then the head. So try 3 more cycles. Notice how the neck area and the lumbar area are super mobile. They want to go first, but we're trying to trick the brain into using a little bit more mobility of that mid-upper back where we all tend to get stiffer. Notice if you kind of just let those sit bones really tip up and you really dip into that lower back, can you use more control? That's it. Last round here, and then we'll come back to take a brief child's pose. All right, go ahead, take another breath there. Great. And then we're going to go ahead and come up into table again. Let's take our first down dog. Go ahead and move it around a bit. Pedal it out. Let this be a moving dog. Shake your head out. Take a couple breaths there. We're going to use down dog as a neutralizer between twists. So a lot of times in our vinyasa, where we go back to our dog, we want a neutral position in between all the twists. You can also always take a child's pose when you like. All right, go ahead and walk your feet forward, top of the mat. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, draw your hands to your heart. Very good. Take the arms out to a T. Separate your feet a little bit so you feel like you're a very comfortable distance there. And we're gonna make sure the pelvis stays straight ahead, aligning those platforms. Pull your tailbone down, lift the crown of the head. Don't move the lower body. You're gonna keep those hip points straight ahead. Move from your rib cage, turn to the right. And try to keep those hips straight ahead. So this is a fixed twist when our lower body is very fixed. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Get that twist more up in that thoracic. Inhale, center. Now this time let the pelvis turn. Exhale to your right. Just watch your knees. So it feels a little different when we let that pelvis go into it. Inhale, center. Exhale, let your hips go with it. Good, back to center. One more time each way. Legs fixed, don't turn the pelvis. Turn from the upper body, from the rib cage. Inhale, center. Exhale. Hips forward. Inhale, center. And this time, let those hips go with you. So watch out for your knees here. One more time. Inhale, center. Exhale. Good. Inhale, center. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, step it back, plank pose, lower down, take your cobra. Couple sun salves. And then cobra, try to get that upper spine in, downward facing dog as you are ready to. Take an inhale, exhale, step or lightly jump, top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up, reach through your arms. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, let's go through that one more round. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. All right, one more time. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, let's make sure we have both blocks and your strap at the top of your mat, please. They're not there. And we'll meet back in our mountain pose, adding some things in now. Okay, let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. You can take a vinyasa or you can step right to your down dog, totally your choice. And then when you're ready, we're gonna inhale the right leg straight up behind you and step through to a lunge. Drop your back knee down to the ground and we'll come on up to the vertical. Okay, pause here and really root down. So we're gonna have a couple principles before we twist. We're gonna root down. We're gonna hug in, just like we did for our balance class. Align those back platforms and then lengthen up so we create all that space between the vertebrae. From here, reach your left arm up toward the ceiling. You're gonna push down in your right hand. Try to touch the ceiling with your left hand. So you really lengthen. And then we're gonna come into prayer twist. Hook your elbow over your knee and we're gonna bring those palms together. Okay, stay here. Okay, so reaffirm, root down, hug in, and now try to lengthen through your spine. As you hold here and breathe, think about turning your rib cage. So we inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, top ribs draw back, bottom ribs wrap around. And we're gonna hold that for 2 more breaths. Press the palms together and keep turning from your rib cage. 1 more breath. All right, slowly release, hands down to the ground or your blocks. Make sure those blocks, if you're using them, or hands are right underneath your shoulders. We're gonna lift the back knee up, and we're gonna take another twist here. So again, root down, hug in, lengthen. Left hand stays down, right hand on the right thigh. Inhale, reach the spine long. Exhale, push in your right hand, try to start to find the twist. So a lot of times we take the arm up and we throw the arm back and it makes us feel like we're twisting. But if our thoracic spine is very immobile, then we're just gonna hyperextend our shoulders. We're gonna practice twisting from the rib cage. So every exhale, push in your hand, turn your rib cage. Bottom hand, draw it a bit into the ground and to the left, and that might help you twist a little more. We're gonna keep squeezing those inner thighs, lengthening. Now let's take the arm up. Hold it here. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, turn your rib cage. Don't throw the arm back. This also strengthens our oblique muscles. Okay, one more breath. All right, release that hand down. Hands stay on the blocks or on the floor, but come up to almost like that halfway lift shape. Reach your heart forward, and then we're gonna start to straighten the front leg toward our pyramid pose. And we're gonna just go in and out a few times. Think about belly kind of be connected to your front thigh. Inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, straighten. One more time, back heel is up. And then this next time, bend. You can drop down onto that back knee. If you have blocks, move them aside, downward facing dog. And use that down dog before you take a vinyasa as a bit of a neutralizer. Okay, so let's bend those knees a bit, lift the sit bones nice and high, press through your palms. And then if you want to take that vinyasa, go ahead. So I want you to feel that neutral position before we start to move here into a back bend. Very good. Meet in your down dog. Okay, let's try this side too. Inhale, left leg up and step through to your lunge. We're going to start in the low lunge, so back knee down. I'm just going to turn the other way so I'm still facing you, and then we're going to come up hands on thigh, okay? Okay, let's remember rooting down, hugging in, lengthening, and then we're going to keep the left hand down, reach the right arm up. But inhale, try to touch the ceiling, get as long as you can, and then reach forward, hook the elbow, come into your prayer twist. And then we hold here. Once again, we're gonna keep reminding ourselves, root down, hug in, lengthen. And then turning that rib cage into the twist, the palms are gonna press. Bottom arm presses into the leg. That'll help you turn the rib cage as well. Can you keep your pelvis more stable like we did in that standing twist? So try not to swing that front hip out to the side. Keep the sit bone in, last breath. Good, and then slowly release, hands down to the floor or your blocks. Okay, we're gonna lift that back knee up and then we'll try for the different variation of the lunge. Root down, hug in, lengthen. And then we're bringing left hand on the thigh. Inhale, and as you exhale, start to push into that thigh, turn your rib cage towards your left. That's it. Press in your bottom hand. Pull that hand a little bit toward the right. But keep reminding yourself, inner thighs, inner thighs. The more stable that lower body is, the more we can move through the thoracic, then the arm comes up. As the arm comes up, are you throwing the arm? Can you turn the rib cage again? Good. Release your hand down. And now we move through that pyramid variation. So belly on thigh, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to straighten and fold. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale. Okay, we're gonna bend into that front knee, step it back, come into your downward facing dog. Find a moment in neutral before you go for that vinyasa. Vinyasa is always optional, of course. When you're ready, you can move through your back bend. Being mindful, whole time. All right. Next inhale, right leg up. Let's step through to that lunge again. Back knee down. This time we're gonna grab the strap as you come up. So a little reminder of what we did a few weeks ago. We're gonna hold that strap behind the back of the skull when we did our neck class, okay? So you might need to double your strap up. And then we're gonna line the back body. Give you guys a moment to get that. Okay, lift in the back of your skull, chin down, hug in. As you inhale, lengthen up, and as you exhale, we're gonna turn over toward that right leg. Good, and then lift up tall, makes the back of the skull as long, turn the rib cage. The more you hug those inner thighs, the more you can find that twist. Hold there, one more breath. Good, inhale it back to center. Exhale, strap down. Lift the back knee, we're coming into warrior one position. So I'm gonna turn this way so you can see a little bit better. Warrior one is a bit of a twist. So what we wanna do is first find the untwist. So I'm gonna have you turn your torso halfway between your front leg and your back leg. So it's a little less twisty. Hold there, root into your feet. Get that back leg strong, rooting into the back heel, and then take the arms up. Interlace your palms and press your palms straight up. So we feel a little bit of a twist here. Press that front knee nice and open, so don't let it drop in. Now we're gonna inhale tall and start to turn your rib cage to the front of the mat. And you'll feel a little bit more of that twist. Good, stay here. Inhale taller. Exhale, turn your rib cage. One more breath. All right, hold it there. Reach the arms up, separate your palms, and then hands to hips. Step that back foot in a little bit. Now we're in neutral, straightening both legs. Another round of pyramid, this time back heel is down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, hinge forward. And you can bring hands to floor or blocks, your choice. Back foot is on a slight angle, but mostly straighten it. And swing your hips toward that back foot to really level out your pelvis. Take a moment, squeeze your inner thighs together. And you might fold in a little bit more if you like. Push that front foot forward, getting the hips to draw back. And then we're gonna bend into the front knee, step it forward, fold over your legs. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Okay, side two, starting from the lunge with the strap. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Vinyasa or right to dog, your choice. When you're ready, inhale, left leg up, step it through to the lunge, and you're gonna grab your strap right away. Bring it behind the back of your head. Okay. Lift the back of the skull with your strap. Align the back body. And doing all the things. Rooting down, hugging in. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, twist. And keep that lower body really fixed by hugging those inner thighs in. Each breath, lengthen. And then turn your rib cage again into the twist. Good. One more time, inhale. Exhale, turn the ribs. Good. Always unwind on an inhalation, so spine is long, and then release your strap down. Good. Lift that back knee, warrior one stance. Spin the back heel down, reach your arms up. And then we turn halfway between back leg and front leg. And it takes a little bit of the twist out of that lower body. We'll interlace the hands, take the palms up. Good. Really find your heels, press them into the ground. Widen the front knee a bit. And as you inhale, the rib cage lifts off the pelvis and takes a twist toward the front of your mat. Then hold there, 2 more breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 1 more. Good, and then release your hands down, floor or block. Step that back foot in a little bit, finding your pyramid position. Okay, so both legs are straight, maybe a micro bend in that front knee. Hug in, and then inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, folding in. You can stay high up on the blocks, or you can go a little bit deeper into that fold. And as you probably can guess, we're working toward a revolved triangle pose today. So I really want you to focus on strong legs, inner thighs hug in, so the lower body is super stable. All right, bending into your front knee. Step it forward when you're ready and fold over your legs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. So quick little break. We're gonna grab our blanket. I want to give you guys a little break off the twisting because we've got more to go. And you're gonna fold your blanket in half. Smooth it out. And we're gonna do 2 forward folds with the blanket. So revolved triangle is can be tough on our Achilles, on our heels, on our ankles. We'll warm that up a bit by stepping our balls of our feet up onto the blanket edge. So the blanket's folded in half, so there's a little thickness to it. And then as soon as you put the balls of your feet up, you're gonna get a little bit more stretch in the back of your calves, backs of your heels. Press the balls of the feet down for a moment. And then we're gonna bend the knees a little bit, hinge at your hip creases, and fold forward with the balls of your feet up on that blanket. And then really pause more in the halfway up shape. Lift your sit bones with your knees a little bent, and then let your upper body come down. Keep pressing down into the blanket. And then maybe you start to straighten those legs a bit more. It's gonna feel a little tighter in that back body because we've just shortened the front of the foot there. So we're lengthening the back tissue. So just be mindful, you can always keep those knees bent. All right, go ahead and slowly bring hands to hips, press yourself up. And now we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna stand with our heels up onto the blanket. So you're gonna step forward. Same thing, have a little space between the legs. Bend the knees a little bit. And then from your hip creases, let's fold. And then hands to floor, you might need your blocks. We're gonna pause kind of halfway up. Lift your sit bones up and then fold. And press down into your heels. Maybe your legs go a little straighter. One more breath. And then we'll slowly bend the knees, bring your hands to your hips, carefully press all the way up, and then let's set that to the side. And we're gonna repeat some of that sequence and add on. Come back to mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Take the vinyasa or not, your choice. Meeting in dog. Inhale your right leg up. Step it through, come into your lunge. We're gonna drop down onto the back knee. And this one is the Achilles stretch lunge that maybe you've done with me before. So we commit a faux pas in yoga by letting our knee go past our ankle. So we're gonna walk our hands forward until our heel comes off the ground. So you're on the ball of your foot. And just keep walking those hands forward. You might need blocks. And it's a big stretch for that back of the ankle joint. Really helpful for grounding our heel in that revolved triangle. So some people can't even keep it down. That's okay. We can always modify. Hold that one more breath. Let that heel drop. All right, and then we're gonna walk it back. And inhale, reach the arms up when you're ready. Find your balance. Hands at your heart. Inhale here, exhale, prayer twist. Okay, this time, option, lift your back knee so we go a little bit less stable with that back knee off the ground. Root down, hug in, and turn the rib cage around the spine. We're gonna push in that bottom arm, push the palms together, and squeeze the front sit bone. One more breath here. And then release hands down when you're ready. We're gonna come back up into that warrior one position. So back heel's gonna spin down, arms reach, okay? So if you want, you can open it up and find the twist. If you feel like you're pretty good, stay there. Rooting through the feet, bending a little deeper into your front knee, and then hands to heart. We're gonna do that same prayer twist, but now with the heel grounded. It's gonna feel very different. Inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. Keep that front sit bone squeezing in and see if you can find prayer twist in warrior one legs. It can be really challenging, so if you need to, you're gonna lift that onto the ball of the back foot. Squeeze the front sit bone in, press your palms, rotate through your spine. One more breath. Really anchor into your back leg. Now to come out, slowly unwind, reach back up to your warrior one. And then we're gonna come down and grab our strap and come back up. Put the strap around the back of your neck and step your back foot in a few inches. We're coming back into that pyramid shape. So now both legs straight, hips hug in. Watch for a moment, so it's a little bit different. We're gonna come back into this position with the strap behind the back of the skull. We're gonna make sure our feet are rooting, inner thighs hugging. Inhale, we lift tall. With a slight bend in the front knee, we're gonna come toward revolved triangle. So my left hand comes toward my right foot, and we're gonna go in and out a few times. Okay, so let's try. Strap behind the back of the skull, press your head back. Strong foundation here, inner thighs. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, twist and reach. We're only gonna go part way, you're not gonna go all the way into it. And then inhale back up. See if you can lengthen and turn the rib cage as you come into it. Keep the elbows wide. One more time. Good, and then we're coming all the way back up. And release your strap. Good, make your way through your vinyasa or your down dog on your own. Maybe in your child's pose at this point. That was challenging. And we're gonna do that on the other side, then we'll do our peak pose. Okay, inhale, left leg up. Step it through to your lunge. And we're gonna come into that Achilles stretch, so walk it forward until you're on the ball of that front foot, the heel is off the ground. And we kind of press through the ball of the foot, let the heel get heavy. So we can think about decompressing back there. Last breath. And then we walk it back. Come on up into our lunge. So find your balance, find that back body lined up, please. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good, coming into prayer twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, hook elbow over the knee. Good, stay there for a few breaths, pressing palms. Remembering all the actions that help you stabilize so you can turn your ribs. And then when you're ready, back knee could lift up off the ground. A little less stable, keep it down if you need to. And really lift that back thigh. And imagine the back heel could move away from the crown of your head. Good. Okay, release, hands down. We come into warrior one. Lift the back knee, if you had it down for a moment, and then warrior one, rise up. Find the twist. Really root into those feet, and then hands up the heart space. Inhale here, lift your chest. Exhale, prayer twist toward that front leg. Now the back heel's down. We did all that warm up for the heels. See if you can keep it grounded. And press your thigh bone back thigh. Hug the front sit bone in. And turn that rib cage. One more breath. All right. Unwinding as you're ready, we're going to come back up. And grab, you might want to grab your strap right away. You want to do that. And then we're going to come into that pyramid once again. Okay. So back foot's going to come in so your legs can straighten and your hips can square forward. Lift the back of your skull with your strap. You might go a little wider with your arms. And then inhale, lengthen your spine as you root and hug in with your legs. Exhale, take the twist toward the front leg. And you're gonna go in and out a few times. You might try widening those hands a little bit each time, see if that feels stable for you. If it doesn't, you're gonna keep them a little closer to your body. Good, one more time. Nice, all right, coming up, release your strap down. Make your way through down dog or vinyasa. We've got just one more time through, and we're gonna add on our full revolved triangle. If you need a quick child's pose, it's there for you. All right, so I see a couple of you guys down. Let's all take a quick child's pose. We'll have a little more reserves to do this last sequence. Yeah, take a break. Maybe notice the neutral of your spine. Okay. Make sure your blocks are at the top of your mat. And when you're ready, find down dog. All right, inhale, right leg up. Let's step it through into our warrior one. Good, hands to hips. Step the back foot in a few inches. And now we're gonna really square the pelvis forward. Back foot is almost straight, just a slight angle, and make sure you're wide enough front to back that you feel stable. Inhale, reach your arms up. Slight bend in your front knee, fold forward, hands to blocks. Now, if you don't need blocks, that's fine, but we are progressing to our revolved triangle, so some people will need it for that. Same actions. Root into your feet, your heels, squeeze your inner thighs. Your hips kind of sway a little bit toward that back foot. So we keep the front sit bone joint in. Now, lock that is in your left hand. Let's bring it right to your right big toe and keep that hand on the block. And bring your left hand onto your hip. Maybe I should do this the other way so I see better. Okay, pausing here. Use your right hand to pin that hip in, back, and down. And then lengthen through your spine. As you inhale, we're lengthening and then pushing your bottom hand. Find your rib cage twist. So turn your rib cage toward the right. Keep kind of pushing down with your right hand and your left hand and revolve your rib cage. The more we squeeze those legs and root through the heels, the more we can find that twist. Now, top hand on your rib cage. Let's use that hand to try to pull that rib cage up a bit toward the ceiling. Bottom hand draws a little bit toward the left. Breathing, make sure we're breathing. Then maybe that arm comes up if you're steady. You want more, you can try to turn that rib cage again, but don't throw the arm back. Good, slowly release. Make your way back through vinyasa or right to your dog. And then we're coming into warrior one on side two. So left foot forward, step into it. And then hands to hips, step the back foot in, straighten both legs. Root down, hug in, lengthen. And then we hinge at the hips and bring those hands to the blocks. Bring them under your shoulders so you're not reaching for them. And before we twist, let's get the bottom of the body set up strong. So adjust your feet if you need to, root down, hug in, hips a little bit toward that back heel. Block that's in your right hand comes inside the big toe, and then left hand to left hip. Now, you can take this deeper hand to the pinky toe side, but I prefer to just go for stability so I can get a deeper twist than worry about the balance part of this pose. So that's my preference. Press that front hip back, in, and down a bit. Inhale, lengthen, and now exhale, rib cage turns toward your left. Keep pushing into that front foot. That'll help propel you. Bottom hand presses. And then hand could come to your rib cage if you're steady and start to turn that rib cage a bit more. Maybe the arm comes up in line with your shoulder, don't throw it back. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, maybe one more turn of the ribs. And then release, hand down. Make your way back, vinyasa, dog, we'll all meet in child's pose. You have options. So whatever, if you've taken vinyasa, let's all meet in child's pose. We're gonna do just one more twist seated, and then we will do some neutralizing of the spine. Okay, we're gonna come up to seated. You're gonna need your strap and something to sit on. We're gonna do Marichiasana pose a little differently, unless you were here earlier in the week. Some of you taken this class earlier this week. We're gonna make a big loop in our strap. Now, if you don't have a strap that's big enough, you'll skip the strap part. But I think it adds some cool stuff to this pose to work with the strap. The strap is going to be about legs distance because we're going to put it around our back. and around our right foot, okay? I want to show you guys something. So I don't want it around your waist. I want it kind of around the top of your sacrum. So find the top of your sacrum, and that's where we're going to place that strap, because it helps to pull the sacrum into the body. If it's around your waist, it's not going to do much for us. So put it low, lower is better. And then left foot flat. And make sure your belt is snug. I like it around the ball of the foot because I can push out into it and then pull it nice and tight so you feel like it's drawing that lower back in. Make sure there's no twists back there. Okay, we're gonna hug the shin with your hands and pull on the shin to bring that upper spine in. Now push through your foot, make sure you feel that that strap is drawing your low back in. So you can bring that foot in a little closer and sit up taller. Reach your right arm up. Inhale, try to touch the ceiling, and then we twist. So bring that hand around, bring the left hand back behind you onto the floor. And then we're gonna do some actions here. So root down, hug in, and then we're gonna inhale to lengthen, exhale, pull with your right hand, push with your left hand, come into your twist. You might think about your left shoulder blade pressing in toward your spine, gives a little support. Breathing here, turning from your ribs. Now I'm gonna give you a pelvis adjustment here. We're gonna let the pelvis move a little bit rather than fix it for this pose. So we're gonna draw the left sit bone back, right sit bone forward, let your right leg grow forward. So your pelvis turns a bit into the twist to your left, okay? So the advantage to doing that is there's less torque on our SI joints. We feel a little freer in our lower back. Let's hold a couple more cycles. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, turn your rib cage, squeeze those oblique muscles. Now last breath, let's turn the head forward. So we get a little twist through the neck. Keep pulling your ribs toward the back as you lift the crown of the head and look forward. Good. Next inhale, lengthen, unwind. And let's just take that strap off for a moment and pause. Take a couple of breaths. Just squeeze the spine, the fascia around the spine, the muscles, the organ body gets lots of stimulation. So feel the after effects of that deep twist. Okay. Strap now is going to go around that left foot. If you don't have the strap, just do everything without. We'll bend the right knee. Make sure our strap is around the sacrum, top of the sacrum, and the strap is snug. Pull that foot in a little closer and hug your shin. Push out into the strap. Inhale, lengthen up as tall as you can. Upper spine in. Good, hug to the midline so we don't let this knee drift off. We keep everything drawing inward. Good, and then let's inhale, reach that left arm up. Exhale, come into the twist, other hand behind you. Good. First, let's find the rib cage turn. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rib turns. Staying here, crown of the head lifting. Right shoulder blade might support you a bit by hugging the midline. And then let your pelvis turn. Right sit bone back, left sit bone and leg slide forward, and your pelvis goes into the twist. Okay, so let's then take a few breaths. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, rib cage turns. And then for the last moment, the head could turn forward. Try to keep your spine in, don't collapse into your lower back. Good, next inhale, unwind back to the center. Take your strap off and pause. Feeling the after effects of the twist, having squeezed everything and then we release it. There's a little bit of sense of relaxation to the system. Okay, forward fold, widen your sit bones apart and bring them to the back a little bit. Let's just widen the legs today, a little softer. If you need to, you could put a little something under the backs of your knees. Let's root the thighs down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Let's go active at first. Interlace your palms. Press your palms up, root your sit bones down, lengthen. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. And now just let that spine relax. So if the lower back feels a little cranky here after the twisting, maybe you don't go quite so far here into that forward fold. You might go more gentle by bending your knees. Think about sit bones pulling back, sacrum drawing in and forward. And then upper spine could just soften a bit and let your head come down. Send breath and awareness equally into both sides of your back. As if that breath could go broad and wide and open the back of your spine. So another benefit that I didn't mention yet is the effect on the adrenal glands. Twisting really squeezes the area of the kidneys and the adrenals. And when the adrenals are constantly pumping out, we're constantly in that kind of activated part of our nervous system. So when we twist, it helps to remind the adrenals that they can both be turned on and turned off, turned on and turned off. So our nervous system can get stuck in the activated state or even the dorsal state where we give up. We're just really resigned and fatigued. And we want to find that balanced place. Very, very slowly, starting to come up, toning the belly, walking your hands up your legs, and we're going to pause when we get to the top. Okay. Next, we're just going to do more neutralizing of the spine. So we're going to do some supportive bridge work. Grab a block. And I'm suggesting today that we have a blanket on top of the block. Sorry, I got tickled today. Again, we're going to fold that blanket like about half in half the long way and put it on top of the block. It's going to give us a little padding for our sacrum, which can get a little cranky if our upper back's really stiff and the lower back twists more than the upper back, a lot more, then we get that instability. So this will be nice for us. We're going to come down onto the back, and you got to lift up nice and high to get this whole setup underneath your sacrum. And the trick is not to get the blanket all messed up. So even yourself out. And see if you can get your sacrum right on top of all that padding. And then pause there in supported bridge. Okay. I'd like us to lengthen the lower back a bit here. So I want you to prop up on your shoulders and on your tiptoes and scoot your tailbone a little bit out from under you. And then come back down. And let the back ribs kind of drop toward the ground. The back ribs and back of head heavy. And then tip the tailbone up, let the tailbone get a little lighter. So the tailbone's like it's kind of tipping towards your knees a bit. And then we'll stay there for a moment, let the arms be relaxed. We're just slightly active in the legs there. And now we're going to try and bring those knees up and into the chest. Okay, we're going to hold it there. And if it feels good, let the knees start to come in toward your chest. Now, if your block starts to slide, you're going to need to hold on to it with your hands. My mat's pretty stable, so I don't have to worry about it, but sometimes it does slide. And keep letting those knees come closer and closer toward the chest and get that tractioning on the lower back. So it opens up that low part of the spine that often gets compressed. Now, some of you might wish to start to straighten your legs. And they can go a little straight or they can go a lot straight, almost like a little baby plow pose. And let those legs drop toward the floor, toward the head. You might bring your hands behind the backs of the legs or to your feet. And you're still up on the block, so the block is catching the edge of your sacrum. Nice stretch for the back body. And you might even want to go into a straddle shape here. Take your feet and legs apart. Block still catching that sacrum. And you could hold your legs or hold your feet. Stretch the inner thighs after all that magnetizing and hugging in that we did. Again, it's like last week. And then let's go ahead, bring those knees back in towards center. Give them one more hug. And then we're going to go ahead and bring those feet back down. Pause in your bridge. And then we'll slide all that out, or you might slide it down and just use it under your knees if you want. So it's up to you if you want to maybe scoot the block out and use that blanket under your knees when you get to Shavasana. But you might want to do like one more knee hug here. Maybe a happy baby. But just keep it neutral. We've done a lot of twisting, so I don't think we need another twist there, but maybe some neutral postures. And then let's go ahead and set the feet down. Let's not put them out straight yet. Okay, so back to like constructive rest. Scoot your tailbone out, arms at your side, and let's observe the spine again before we straighten the legs. Sometimes we straighten the legs, we have a big curve in our low back, so this brings us a little bit more neutral. Can you feel and sense into both sides of your spine again? Notice if there's any more evenness than when you started. Feel both sides of your back body evenly. Notice any shift in pain level, sensations in your body. And then when you feel ready, go ahead and take those legs out. You might want something supporting backs of knees. We'll come into our Shavasana. So I'll give you guys a few moments to get settled in there. Once you are flat on your back, make any adjustments and notice that length of the spine. Maybe send your breath up and down the spine a few more times. Noticing the effects of the twisting practice. So another way that twists benefit our nervous system is because they activate the direction of energy we call samana. And samana is an energy that helps us process and digest. It's an energy that helps us penetrate inward and to extract the good stuff that we need from our life experiences, from our food, and then helps us to release the rest. So without good samana, we're not able to really process what's going on. For example, what's going on in our world today, we need to be able to digest it, to process it. And sometimes those experiences of trauma, of extreme stress can get lodged in our bodies, in our tissues, in our nervous system, in our fascia, which holds, billions of our nerve endings. The twists help us to process it, to digest it and release it from our spines, from our nervous systems, from our digestive systems, so that perhaps there's a little more clarity in mind and body. So I'm going to share a little reading as you start to drift off. Every spring, after the harsh winter of snow and deep freezes, there is a thaw. First is a sound, the trickling and dripping of water. Then there is the rushing of streams spontaneously cropping up from the snow melt. And then, as the sun warms the earth, the green shoots appear. One of them is the miraculous fiddlehead fern. It nudges up from the ground as a tightly coiled spiral. And then slowly the sun and warmth coax it to unwind, unfurl, and eventually spread its fronds out wide. The fiddlehead is like our body and mind on a path of meditation. At first, we are tightly wound. We carry tension, tightness, and gripping that are largely unconscious to us. These tensions are not one-time events. They are patterns that have been with us for a long time. The Buddha called these patterns karma, and yogic Buddhism calls the patterns knots, where energy is stuck and frozen in the body. When we meditate within the body, bringing awareness to the inner world, space opens up. Awareness, like sunshine in the spring, illuminates the dark places and thaws the part of the self that are rigid and tightly held. Refinements of our attention as loving, non-judgmental, and effortless are like the rich soil, and under such conditions, the knots begin to loosen. Let's take another minute or so here. All right, so we're going to start that awakening first with sound. like in the reading. So what do you hear? Maybe that trickle. And then with small movement, you'll take your time to just gently move a bit before coming over onto your side for a pause. Let there be no hurry. And when you do press up, just imagine yourself as that fiddlehead fern just starting to slowly unwind and unravel. And even as you get into your seated posture, kind of letting that crown of the head unfurl like that top of the fern. Just finding that most upright position that you can. And then let's just close the eyes once you're settled and take a few more breaths. And as you breathe in, feeling the lengthening of your spine. And as you breathe out, maintaining the length of your spine. Crown of the head is still like that top of the fiddlehead fern with a slight bow of your chin. Spine strong, belly soft. Feeling your back body with equal awareness. If there's an area of compression, can you find a little bit more length? Right from that area of compression or tightness. All right, let's go ahead, bring hands together in front of the heart space. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bowing your head to your heart. Thank you, everyone. Namaste.